Hello everybody, it's the Historical Gamer once again, and today we're returning to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts, the upcoming game by Game Labs, which allows you to build ships and fight them. That's like the super layman's term. An easier version is saying like imagine Rule the Waves, but with a 3D engine and some things streamlined. But in any event, we're returning to this game which has proved very popular, both online and on my channel. And we're returning to the Naval Academy because the game is still in the early alpha phase of development, but we have looked at it previously. Now, we jumped in with both feet in our previous videos and went straight to the most modern battleship conflict that we could find in the Naval Academy. The Naval Academy kind of mixes both a tutorial and some interesting challenges for you to overcome. It's really about teaching you how to play the game, but also giving you some interesting challenges that you need to figure out, like, how do I want to approach these? In today's video, we're going to be kind of taking a step back, and we're going to be saying, all right, let's start the Naval Academy from the beginning, and if we're novices, let's figure out how to play and win, because I still don't know that. I built a decent battleship in the modern battleship scenario. I fought it twice. I lost both times, but in this case, let's just start back over from the very beginning, and let's see what the game does to teach us about how to play. And so the first objective in Naval Academy is target practice. In this, your objective is to destroy a stationary target as fast as you can. Test the significance of gun technology and firepower versus a heavily armored ship that is stationary and will not shoot back. You must destroy the target within the time limit. So it looks like we have $7.1 million to build a battleship. The enemy fleet consists of one battleship. We have 17 minutes, and we need to sink all enemies. The enemy is immobile, has 10-inch max armor, and will not shoot any weapons. Both sides will not shoot torpedoes. So essentially, this is a gunnery exercise. It's gunnery practice, and we need to see how we can do. With our bonuses, we have three options. We can optimize secondary guns. We can optimize main guns, and we can have balanced gun technologies. I think we're going to do that. We're going to go with balanced gun technologies because I'm assuming this is something that's occurring more in the earlier phase of the game where we're looking at like pre-Dreadnought battleships. I could be wrong, but we'll find out. And if that's true, then I think secondary guns will be important. With that being said, actually. All right, sorry, I had to jump back out and turn the volume off because it's causing a lot of copyright strikes for folks. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in. Balanced gun technologies. So this is definitely a pre-Dreadnought frame. It looks like it's an Italian Navy frame. We've got the flag of the Kingdom of Italy, which is kind of cool. I think in the Naval Academy, the ships are random. It is the hull design of Battleship 2, which is 12,500 to 16,500 ton hull, 415 crew, hull form 79, stability 65, floatability 60, resistance 60, turning slowdown 59, surface visibility plus 4,950. This is definitely a pre-Dreadnought sized hull. With our main tower, we have a couple of different options. Remember, before we only had like the massive modern battleship tower. Now we have three different styles for the front tower. We can have a front tower number 3, front tower number 2, or front tower number 1. The main tower is an integral part of the battleship and must exist in all designs. Towers enhance visibility, accuracy, and damage control. Smoke from funnels may obstruct visibility and reduce their effects. So I'm not quite sure. It looks like it's just kind of... Front tower 1 looks like it's the smallest. It gives the least advantage to aiming speed. Accuracy is unchanged. Long range accuracy is a little bit less. Communication range is a little bit less. Damage control is less. Smoke interference is more. Target signature is less. Tower spotting is the same, and torpedo spotting is the same. And then you go to tower 3, which is, again, just a little bit taller. So it looks like the tower 1, 420 tons, tower 3, 460. Doesn't give me an altitude or a height or anything like that of the tower, but I think we'll go with front tower number 3, and we'll go ahead and it looks like there's only one spot on the ship we can put front tower number 3 or 2 or 1, which is at the front of the ship. Go figure. So you've got this sort of bridge-looking. I mean, it's a pre-Dreadnought style tower, which is not like a super armored conning tower or anything like that. Then we're going to go to secondary tower, which we need to have a rear tower. If we went with front tower number 3, we should probably go with rear tower number 3, right? So we've got a rear tower back here, and we can see it's similar, although slightly less armored, a little bit less shielding of metal around it. Okay, so we've got the front and the rear tower. Now we have funnels. We can go with a triple funnel, which would go in the middle here. I don't really know the difference here. Funnel capacity is obviously the biggest in a triple tower. We could go with a dual funnel in here. An air intake funnel, which I don't really know what the difference is between any of these things, but it's not really telling me either. So I don't know. Does the triple funnel include an air intake? I guess it says you need at least one funnel, so okay. Do we want to move that more center? All right, so I guess we'll do that. I mean, we could do different funnel designs. It might be interesting, but no barbettes. We only get 2 centerline guns, no side guns. This is a pre-Dreadnought battleship, which basically means you get 4 guns on it. You can get 13-inch guns. You get... doesn't give me a caliber, interestingly enough, although those do look a little bit snubby. The 12-inch guns have a little bit longer muzzles. I don't know if that actually impacts anything. Let's compare this. 15,000 is 374145. The 3, all right, so it looks like the 13-inch shells definitely have better penetration characteristics, despite the shorter range, the shorter muzzles. The muzzle velocity is actually bigger on the 12-inch guns, which is interesting, although it's bigger on the 11 as well. The 10's even more. So it looks like the smaller the caliber, the heavier the muzzle velocity. I don't know if that's 100% historically accurate or not. One thing I would like to see with the game, they do a really good job with armor in this game, having like, oh, you've got like a ton of different types of armor to choose from. I would like you to have multiple different turret design options too. That would be kind of interesting. But we're going to go with 13-inch guns in double turrets fore and aft. So this is a big-ass turret, but stub nose, which is weird. Secondary guns, let's go with... It's a heavily armed ship, so let's go with 6-inchers. We're going to have a strong secondary battery. Oh, I can't do that. Can I do this? Doesn't look like I can do anything with my secondary batteries. No secondary turrets. I can do casemate guns, I'm presuming. Yep, we can do casemate guns. So we can go ahead and put a bunch of 6-inch casemates in here, which are kind of closer along the water line, so if you're in a rough sea, then you can't really use them. So you put a few that are a little bit higher up. All right. So we're up to 4 13-inch guns and 16 6-inch guns, all in casemates. We can't use torpedoes, so there's no point in putting them on there. We're a little bit heavy, more than a little bit heavy, so we probably want to add a little bit more displacement. We're going to be over budget, though, with additional displacement. Range, we'll set it to very short. Pre-Dreadnoughts had short range anyway. Bulkheads we'll set to minimum because it doesn't matter. The enemy's not going to shoot back, right? I'll set speed to 20 knots just so we're not going too slow. And then the weight, I guess, we'll set to around 6,500 tons. I mean, at this point, we could set armor. We could go with compound armor, which will add cost, but it should have saved weight, but I guess not. The barbettes, we can't really do anything with. I guess we could have a barbette here. I don't know what that does. Like, does it help by raising it off the... well, no. It doesn't even look like we get that as a choice. We only have single bottoms. We don't have anything. We have a Citadel level 1. We could go with. Cost, again, is going to be more than we can afford. 4 weight, we're a little bit heavy on weight at the front of the ship, so we're going to move our funnels back a little bit. Weight's still heavy in the front. I don't know. Maybe we're just going to be front heavy, I guess. Honestly, none of this other stuff really matters all that much. A lot of the technology is really basic, and we don't have more advanced technology. We can change the shell weight, which will improve the performance of the shells. We can go with balisite, gunpowder shells. But again, it's kind of like, all right, what's the... let's cut it down to 6'1". We can cut the weight a little bit more. That'll help cut costs. Go ahead and cut the speed a little bit more, too. No. God, our weight in the front is so... We're so heavy in the front. Maybe I just should move this. I don't know. We're too expensive. Basic, boilers, all this stuff. Citadel doesn't really matter, I guess, because we don't actually have to worry about getting shot at. So I guess this is a pretty quick and dirty... I mean, we could lower the armor, too, right? Because the enemy's not going to shoot back at us, so if we really wanted to, we could lower the armor. But what about secondary guns? Can we have any other guns? Do any other guns fit on this thing? No. No other guns fit on this thing. So I guess we've got our 6-inch secondaries and we've got our 13-inch main guns. Let's just jump forward and see what the heck happens here. Since we know he's not going to shoot back, it's a British battleship versus our Italian battleship. You can see we're already opening fire. I guess we'll make turns for 18 knots. I'm going to try and close the range with them. You can see our turrets are turning, but they're turning very slowly. We've got a 21% chance of a hit here. We have no understanding of what the likelihood is of penetrating his armor is. If we actually look along the side of the ship, we can see our casemates are firing. These are the 6-inch guns over here. So they're shooting at the enemy. They're not penetrating him super well. It looks like we had a 4 penetration there. The enemy ship is on fire. So our secondaries did start a fire. Mid-belt partial penetration. Ship identification is 79%. We're working our way through it. Again, remember, this is just target practice. It actually has 3 centerline guns, which I find kind of interesting. Okay. I guess for the shell type, we're going to go, or for the rate of fire, let's go to aggressive shooting. The 6-inch shells obviously fire more quickly. I'm assuming there's no damage control on the enemy end either. I love the sound of those shells firing. The sound effect of the explosion is pretty cool. Structural's down to 79 already, so we might win this thing pretty quick. Okay. I don't know if there's any damage control whatsoever. Whatever. We're getting some partial penetrations here. There's something, by the way, I just want to say that's kind of sexy about pre-Dreadnought ships. For whatever reason, I just find pre-Dreadnought ships pretty fascinating. Alright, let's slow this ship down. We're on a weird angle. I probably would be better off, like, turning. But I don't know if it's going to last long enough to get a turn in. Was that our main gun? No, those were not our main guns. Looks like we've got 4,200 6-inch shells, 376 13-inch shells. The 13-inch shells only have 4 muzzles to come out of, so that's quite a bit of ammo. 13-inch shells are almost reloaded. I love the smoke sound, the smoke effects too in this game. It really obscures the performance too. You really can't see all that well what's actually happening. Or sometimes you can't without like zooming way up. But if you're trying to follow from like the ship level, that coal smoke from your boilers just definitely gets in your way. We'll see if we can turn and get around this ship here. I'd like to engage at the other side. Let's speed things up a little bit. So our secondaries are these rapid-firing, heavy-ish guns. Our primaries are these slow-ass 13-inch guns. Remember, last time we played, we had 18-inch guns with auto-loaders. And those were loading faster, I think, than our 13-inchers are right here. It doesn't look like we'll be able to get around in time. So we're just going to rake the front of the ship, which actually from an armored ship design is terrible. The irony is, you'd be better off raking a ship in an age of sail with wood, but in an age of iron, not so much. Okay, so it is down to 59% structural damage. No flotation damage, though. Again, we're shooting down the length of the ship because it's got armored plating, however, that doesn't really mean much. We're passing at incredibly close range, 0.4 of a kilometer. Quite a lot of fire going on. You can see when you click on this, you can see all these yellow areas are compromised. The green areas are okay but damaged. The red areas are destroyed. You can see all along here we've got fire amidships. You've also got the visual here on the ship. You can see how inefficient shells are at destroying enemy targets, though. To some extent, anyway. But you can see the fire is now expanding in the ship. 76 damage penetration on a secondary shell. Alright, I'm going to try and halt us here. Yardarm to yardarm. Let's just blow this thing apart. Now you can see these 13-inch shells penetrate about 4.5 inches at 15,000 yards. At our current range, it can penetrate up to 13 inches of armor. The 6-inch shells at our range can also penetrate over 3 inches of armor at our present range. So they're still pretty deadly. I don't know what the armor scheme of the ship is. If I click on the New Zealand, it doesn't tell me. It tells me minimum bulkheads. Oh, armor is 4 to 10 inches. Whoa, I can't see. Smoke in the way. Those are big, big hits. Okay, so 4 to 6 inches of armor on the ship. 17,000 tons. You can see more fires up front. I want more magazine explosions. I want a catastrophic turret fire or something. But instead, we're just going to kind of have to keep hammering away. I guess we can fast forward here and just let the guys do their work. We should have more than enough ammo here. More 13-inch shells coming in. It does feel... Whoa, look at all the fire. It does feel like the game does reward sort of a mid-range for battleships. So, like, when you're really close in, the belt armor kind of diminishes the effectiveness of your fire. When you're really far away, the lack of accuracy at range diminishes the effect of your fire. Whereas when you're in kind of this middle ground, you can get plunging shot that comes down through the deck armor and can really tear the heart of the ship out. That was my experience in the other scenario. That was pretty devastating. You can see the enemy's structures down to 11, floats down to 76. I'm curious, if we order the ship to stop firing, will the fire work its way through the ship, or will it slowly flood? Because that's one of the things I noticed in the other battles, was that it seemed like I could never sink the ship, but I'm wondering if I was wasting a bunch of ammo on a ship that was going to sink anyway, that I just didn't give it enough time to. Like, is the ship already fatally wounded and it's just a matter of letting it sink? Or is the ship, you know, going to survive if I don't pound it into oblivion? Because that might... Yep, okay. So that makes more sense. If I just let the fire and the flooding work on the ship, then it will sink due to structural damage. Okay. So we did succeed in that mission. We won that battle. And that's interesting there. Okay, we've got time in this video, I think, for one more battle. So we're going to test the significance of gun technology and firepower versus a fast-moving light cruiser. Heavy and rapid-fire secondary guns might be useful against the ship, while more advanced big guns can neutralize it quickly due to their increased accuracy. So we can optimize the secondary guns, the main guns, or balanced. Let's go with balanced again. We're building, again, another pre-Dreadnought. I'm going to try the auto-design feature here. So if I auto-design, you can see 3 funnels come in, or actually 4 funnels come in, 2 amidship and like a side-by-side pattern, 1 fore, 1 aft. You've got 3 centerline guns of 11-inch caliber. This is not... I'm kind of curious about this because this game, I've noticed it multiple times, it does seem to favor 3 centerline turret pre-Dreadnoughts, which is not really a thing. Historically, the Germans had it in one of their classes of ships, the Brandenburg class, but none of the others really adopted that, and it's kind of an interesting idea to be like, hey, we're going to kind of buck the trend, and this is the way the game's going to design ships. Anyway, it's a pretty balanced design, 1,100 crew, armor of 4 to 10 inches, speed of 15 knots. It's a $6.5 million ship. We actually have quite a bit more money left over if we want to make something more expensive. 3 double 11-inch turrets, 12 single 6-inch guns, 10 3-inch guns, and then 1 3-inch gun. I'm not sure where this one is. But anyway, let's just take the auto-designed ship. Let's take it to battle. I love these little interludes you get when you're waiting for things to load, where it gives you information about different historical classes. That really adds a lot of flavor to it. The D'Entresux was a French protected cruiser built during 1890. By the way, I know that completely mispronounced that. 8,123 tons. She could travel at a maximum speed of 19.5 knots. She was very well armored for her indicated class, reaching 9 inches of armor protection for her turrets, 10 for the conning tower. Her armor suited to that of an armored cruiser, featuring 2 single 9.4-inch guns, 30 smaller guns, and 2 underwater torpedo tubes. All right, so 1 light cruiser versus my Spanish Empire battleship, and just like that, we're opening fire on the enemy ship. which is about 2.1 kilometers away. We have a very low hit percentage chance on the enemy ship. It looks like the enemy's turrets are traversing, so perhaps they will actually shoot back in this battle. It didn't say they wouldn't. Yes, they're shooting back. Alright, so we got a penetration of an engine. We damaged an enemy engine. And the enemy's flooding already. Well, remember, the cruisers don't really have a ton of armor. So you can see our ship is firing away rapidly with its secondary guns at the enemy ship. The enemy ship is I don't know what type of ship it is yet. We don't have good info on it, but you can see here our 6 main guns, and then our flurry of secondary 6-inchers and 3-inchers, all firing off at the enemy. It's already sinking! Holy crap! What just happened? It blew up? Did we detonate the magazine? Was all this complaining of mine moot? We just I didn't even see it! I want to go back. I want to watch a replay. Is there any ability to do that? No. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. I want to blow something up. Let's auto-design another ship. It doesn't design the same ship either. That's pretty cool. So instead of 13-inch guns, this time there's only 4 12-inch guns. Or sorry, 11-inch guns. And then 16 6-inch guns. So that's an interesting design. Let's go ahead and see what this looks like. The Von der Tann was the first battlecruiser of the Imperial German Navy and Germany's first major turbine-powered warship. I've got an amazing book that has like 3D renderings of like all the German battlecruisers in World War I. It's so freaking cool. All right, this time we're fighting the Russians. Boom! Shells away. All right, let's just focus on the enemy ship this time. Let's watch the enemy ship as it dies. Hopefully, anyway. So we're fighting the Russians with our Spanish ship again. You can see here they've got guns with shields. So they've got 3 main guns, all with shields. I don't know what caliber they have. Incoming salvo. Shells went short. Most of our rounds are coming in short here. The enemy presumably is much faster than us, but you can see these are probably 4 or 5 or maybe 6-inch guns with gun shields. There's no turret, though. The back is exposed, so the front is, in theory, supposed to provide protection to the crews, while the back is not supposed to be, you know, a risk, so you don't armor it so you can save some weight. Not probably ideal to standing up in a battle line, but it's a thing, I guess. Meanwhile, we're still trying to identify this enemy ship. The enemy is firing. It feels like a little bit more accurate than me. It's a 3-mast. It says heavy cruiser. I'm not sure if that's true. Again, the smoke effects are making it hard to follow. All I've got is smoke. All I've got is smoke, and I can't see anything. Alright, are we getting hit? It feels like we're getting hit. Let's turn away a little bit. Bring more of our guns into action here. There we go. Overpen on the enemy funnel. 12-inch shell short and behind. Secondary shells coming in here. One of those sounded like it broke up on the enemy armor. It is a Diana-class light cruiser. It has 0.2 to 1.7 inches of armor. It is 3,700 tons and makes a top speed of 21 knots. That's a British class, isn't it? I don't see the... I don't know if it's laying smoke or what. I wanted another explosion, and so far I've been kind of disappointed. Looks like she has 6-inch guns. She also has torpedoes, which I don't know if the enemy is going to fire or not. At this range, though, 1.2 kilometers, torpedoes certainly could be a problem. Okay, so she is turning toward me. She's getting partial penetration on my armor. She's also having shells break up. Be more accurate, gunners. The damn smoke, I think, is throwing them off. I don't think they can hit their target because of the smoke. I don't have a smoke screen. Whoa! Big hit there in the center of the ship. Half the ship is now ablaze and on fire. And I imagine that's going to be problematic. You know, one thing I think they could do a better job of is it doesn't seem like, and maybe I'm wrong now that we've got a more lightly armored ship, but in my advanced scenarios, it seemed like the enemy, like, should the enemy really still have its guns firing at me? Is that realistic? I don't know. I'm not saying it's not. but it feels like historically ships would have turrets and other things knocked out, or they'd be so battered that they just were combat ineffective and they wouldn't be returning fire. It seems like in this game, enemy ships do a pretty good job of returning fire no matter what, no matter how badly crippled they are. Now, I would agree that it's certainly true that the effectiveness of that fire diminishes considerably with damage, but I guess I feel like ships used to not, like, if they were pounded and the whole ship was aflame, you're probably not shooting back with your guns in the middle of the ship that is just on fire, especially when you're in an open turret and you have no shielding for the turret. Speaking of the enemy ship, it's probably going to be firing torpedoes at me soon, right? Whoa. Alright, so the enemy's lost about 25% of its system or structural integrity, but it's still gamely sailing on. Let's go ahead and speed things up a little bit. Again, all the smoke is making things very difficult to follow, which is certainly accurate and cool in one sense, and in another sense, it's I want to see all the pretty stuff. Definitely a partial pan. Oh, he hit me with torpedoes. Boom! All right, I think we hit the, yep, ammo detonation. That's what it said. So I fast-forwarded through that so we couldn't see it. We did get hit by a torpedo, so we suffered some pretty bad damage, but the enemy ship did blow up. So that was gun basics number 1. So that moves us successfully through 2 of the 21 Naval Academy missions. We've been going for a little bit less than a half an hour. I think we'll go ahead and wrap this video up here before we jump into another one. The third gun basics here is testing the significance of gun technology and firepower versus a heavily armored battleship. So the previous one was versus a cruiser. Now it's versus a battleship, and it will fight you back, and we need to destroy it within 20 minutes. Enemy has a max of 9.8-inch armor. The enemy will never retreat. Honestly, I'm going to maybe play this one off camera. I have a hunch this is just going to be very slow, repetitive, and methodical. So it may not be the best thing to watch. I don't know. We'll see. But let me know if you guys want to see that or not. With that being said, guys, I do appreciate you tuning into yet another episode of Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts as we start to work our way through the Naval Academy. And frankly, honestly, guys, the thing I'm the most excited about, I want to see this campaign. I want to see what this looks like. I know we're really early in the game's development. I know it's still, you know, the in alpha, not even beta. But I want to see this campaign. I want to get my teeth into it. This game looks like a heck of a lot of fun. I'm probably more excited about this game than I have been anything else in quite some time. It is gorgeous. It is well thought out. It is detailed. In many ways, it's the ship design game that I'd always been hoping for. Rule the Waves gave me a big taste of it. But if they have some key enhancements in the campaign that Rule the Waves doesn't have, a little bit less randomness in where fleets meet and how battles work, I think that could be really exciting and neat to see. But with that being said, I think that's for another time. That's for another episode. I'd love to hear your thoughts, love to see your comments down below. And until next time, guys, once again, thanks for tuning in. And this is the Historical Gamer saying thank you for watching, and I'm out.